And we're back for another episode of NBA 2K14. And you saw the last week, it was the episode 11. Episode 14, it was LeBron James of the Miami Heat. They were always so strong. And now we're off to episode 15 of those random teams edition. So who's gonna spin the wheel? Who's gonna be next episode? And who is here to spin the wheel in 3, 2, 1, spin? Who's gonna take it? Who's gonna spin? It is. Oh, it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's Ricky Rubio. Okay, so Minnesota Timberwolves. It's the episode 11. When we play Ricky Rubio. What? What? I want to start the game. So episode 15 goes to Ricky Rubio of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Who's on overall now? 8-1 with Kevin Love and Ricky Rubio was 22 overall, and not gonna go top. We're just gonna go with the. I believe which one's gonna go the team. I believe I'm gonna go with Phoenix Suns with Jerome Green. So, episode 11 of the day, we're off to Minneapolis, so it's gonna be the Minnesota Timberwolves with Kevin Love, Ricky Rubio, and Kevin Martin. And ready and enjoy. So episode 15th of the day, it is the Minnesota Timberwolves. And ready and start your engines. Let's do it. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome. I'm Damon Bruce here with you as we get ready for a little NBA action on 2K Sports. Friday Hoops Fest coming up next. It'll be the Phoenix Suns facing off against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And now we send you out to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K crew. I'll see you at the half.
We make it cool.
Live coverage of the NBA here on 2K Sports. A happy Sunday evening to you and yours. From the booth, this is Kevin Harlan alongside Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. Now a chance to check out our starting lineups. First for the Suns, Dragic is out there at Bledsoe. And at center, it's Marcin Gortat, the 6'11 versatile scorer and finisher, known as the Polish Hammer. Then there's Gerald Green, and it's Beasley in at the power forward position. And looking at Minnesota, Rubio and Martin manning the backcourt. And at the pivot, a bruising and physical 6'11", 290-pound center. A battering ram in Pekovic. Then there's Buddington, and it's Love in at the 4 spot.
You know, the Wolves were just decimated by injuries last year, and it really put a snag in their season from the start, with Rubio still recovering from his ACL tear and Kevin Love missing a lot of time with his hand fracture. They were missing 2. Major building blocks.
Tip off goes to Minnesota. Outside for Martin. A shot from out on the wing. He knocks it down. And with the Wolves last year, Ricky Rubio came back and helped them turn things around a bit, but Kevin Love would end up playing very few games for him, Steve, and they never really got the chance that they once seemed to have.
Love's injury, I think, just devastated this team, and Rubio, of course, coming off that ACL, he eventually made it back, but those are the key guys. I mean, Rubio and Love have to be the foundation of this club. They added a lot of three-point shooting in the offseason, so this should be a pretty well-rounded team, but it's up to the stars, Kevin.
And it's Love penetrating. Here's Rubio. Buries the long-range jumper. Rubio's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. Rubio against Dragic. Dragic off the pick from Beasley. Gortat, the pass to Beasley. Loses his man off the screen and lays it up and in. Beasley's got his first basket of the night.
Well, Michael Beasley, former #2 pick in 2008, signed on with the Suns last season, and they really had high hopes for him, but he had his worst season yet. Miserable shooting and more turnovers than assists.
Here's Dragic, following the basket by Kevin Love. Backing down is Gortat. On the wing, and there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. And for Michael Beasley, his offense has kind of been the one thing he could count on, but even there, he struggled.
Yeah, it's been maybe a fall from grace for a player who was dominant at Kansas State. But the problem for Beasley, not really a 3, not really a 4. He's a tweener, and he just has not been able to find his niche in this league.
Now here's Buttinger, and again, Minnesota with the triple.
4 makes on 4 tries. Everything's falling early. 100%, can't do better than that.
Bledsoe with it. And it's Martin picking him up. And it's Bledsoe off the drive. Oh, that's blocked. Now Love inside. And he goes strong with the one-handed jam.
You know, regardless of who starts the break, it seems like he's usually the one to finish it.
And that's because of how well he attacks the rim on the dead run. Well, you know, Jeff Hornacek, the new coach of the Phoenix Suns, a 14-year career as an NBA shooting guard, and he was terrific as a player. Spent his first 6 in Phoenix and only recently really got into coaching, starting as an assistant with the Jazz in early 2011.
That's good. It's Rubio with the assist. And that's now 7 points for Kevin Love. The Suns have gone 3 of 4 from the field to start off the game. Dragic kicks to Green. Money from the wing. And back to Coach Hornacek, the 16th coach in Suns franchise history. He's raised his 3 kids in Phoenix. Stevie's put down roots there. Looks like he would like to stay for the long term.
Well, he's a tremendous player for the Suns back during the prime of his career. So this is a great fit coaching the Suns. A guy who played the game with tremendous intelligence and an even-keeled demeanor. Should serve him well as a head coach.
And here's Rubio, following the 3 from Green. And the basket by Rubio. Rubio's got 5.
That's just run-of-the-mill for him. A typical day at the office. He's one of the more skilled offensive players out there.
Beasley, smooth as silk on the finger roll.
He had his choice of finishing moves there, and you just got to love the fact he went old school with the finger roll. Well, you know, I tell you what, guys, it's a tough road to hoe when you're trying to rebuild in the Western Conference. There's just no room or margin for error. And teams pile on while you're down.
I don't know how they're going to keep this pace up. Both teams on fire here early.
And playing the game on rollerblades, too.
So for the Suns, Friends checked in for Gortat. Marcus Morris comes in for Michael Beasley. And Caron Butler is subbed in for Gerald Green. And back to the Suns in the West, they did finish with the worst record in the conference. They managed only 17 wins, Steve, against other teams in the West.
And that wasn't the worst mark, but it was close. The Suns' problem was that they didn't have a huge inside presence for long stretches of the season. And when you lack depth against teams with tough power forwards or centers out west, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
And Buttinger gets it to go.
How about the response? Retaliation. Impressive, huh, guys?
I'll say exactly that as well. Nice job to recover those 3 points right away.
Morris dishes to Dragic. All alone. Can't hit. And Minnesota now the other way. And it's Rubio penetrating. Soft touch of fitness. Rubio's got his 3rd bucket of the night.
Wow, just a tremendous first quarter shooting the basketball for them, guys.
Yeah, when they put it up, it's going in.
Here's Dragic from outside. Gets it to go.
He's going to keep banging those home if you give him that much space.
A chance at a 2 for 1 if they want it.
Yeah, no question. If I'm them, I'm definitely going 2 for 1.
Love kicks to Martin. Love passes to Buddington. Back to Rubio. Kevin Martin on the wing. And again, Minnesota with the triple.
They're setting the tone early with that.
Suns trail by 7. Outside Dragic. And that one's good. Dragic has got his second basket of the night.
That's just a case of two teammates working perfectly together. One setting the screens and the other using it to get that separation. Wow, he's got such a sweet three-point stroke. The way he can shoot it, pushing opposing bigs out on the perimeter, can really open up the lane.
And it's Bledsoe off the drive. And it's by Love. Oh, we've seen some great shots in the first quarter. No shortage of offense. Minnesota on top, leading by 8. And don't go away. We'll be back with the action for the start of the second quarter in just a moment. And we welcome you back. Glad to have you with us as more basketball is on the way. During the break, the players getting refueled with Gatorade. And they're looking amped up and ready to get going once again. And a moment now to quickly take a look at the offensive approach for the Timberwolves.
They didn't waste any time getting into a groove out there. They're dialed in from long range.
You know, we've seen them bearing their fair share of mid-range jumpers tonight, too. I mean, that's a good start for them. It was mostly just spot minutes for Kendall Marshall in his rookie campaign, but around the halfway mark of last season, he was able to work his way into the rotation a bit more, and I think he got a taste of what it's like to run an NBA team, and I think he's got the potential to be a very solid point guard going forward.
Let's go to our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. Doris, what do you have?
Gentleman Muhammad was once regarded as a contender for the top pick in this year's draft, but his stock fell after a year at UCLA. Some said he was too one-dimensional as a scorer. Then it was revealed that he'd lied about his age, pretending to be 1 year younger than he actually was. Now with a chip on his shoulder, out to prove that the height was warranted. Muhammad said, quote, "I've always had a killer instinct, and that's what separated me. I'm trying to show no mercy." Kevin?
Extremely poised and confident. Thanks, Doris. And Kendall Marshall drafted 13th out of North Carolina last season. The knocks on him were shooting and athleticism, but he knows how to run a team, that's for sure.
He does, Kevin. He's an outstanding passer, floor general. He's been compared to maybe a guy like Mark Jackson, but he'll need to shoot the ball a little bit better to solidify his place in the league.
Some changes for Phoenix. Gortat's checked in for Len. Beasley comes in for Caron Butler. And it's Gerald Green in for Eric Bledsoe. Brewer with the ball. He's up against Beasley. Got a piece of it. And so it looks like the Timberwolves will retain possession here. Second quarter of action, about a minute and a half played. Fans count the basket. He was fouled, and he's going to the line for one more.
Perfect inbounds pass and an easy 2 points. Well, he's a classic overachieving little guy. You know, Barea is so quick and deceptive offensively. He uses that speed and hustle to his advantage. Can make a shot, but really he's looking to penetrate.
Yeah, quick to establish position inside. He's not going to be a shot blocker at his height, but drawing charges, he can do that. Here's Gortat. The feather touch on the finger roll. Beautiful.
Here it is again. On a lot of their possessions this first half, they've established great position inside.
Yeah, getting the ball into the post should be their first option every time down. Force the defense to adapt and adjust.
Now here's Williams. And Shved kicks to Barea. Brewer, the pass to Turioff. Puts up the baby hook. And again, it's Minnesota. Suns trail by 14.
Hey, it goes without saying that if you're beat up and your all-star power forward is on the shelf, you're going to have a tough time against the big teams in the West. Minnesota was left for the wolves, so to speak, when they matched up against others in their conference.
Yeah, nice body control there, narrowly missing the shot. It would have been a three-point play.
Had a free look at it after the foul. Nice play.
Well, picking up again on the Timberwolves. Last season, 17-35 record against the rest of the Western Conference, which was third worst in the conference. As Steve, you might expect, that's got to improve.
And as you said, I mean, losing so much of their front court as they did last year to injury, it's amazing that they even won that many games. I mean, if you don't have big bodies down low, then it's tough to win in the West.
Whole new look on the floor for Minnesota. That's good.
Well, they're going on this run, and ball movement has been a big key.
Yeah, they have the defense on the run right now because every pass seems to have a purpose. They're getting great movement, great spacing, and they're really lining them up defensively.
And here is Marshall after the three-pointer from Ricky Rubio. Shot's good.
Late reaction from the defense, and he's always going to make good on that.
Minnesota leading by 13. Uses the glass to finish the game. Rubio's got 12 points in the game.
Defender a little hesitant to offer resistance as he bursts to the hoop.
And Marshall kicks to Morris. Hits it from three-point range.
That shot becomes effortless for him when the D is so relaxed. They've got to get more intense. You know, you look at the Morris twins, Marcus and Marquise, both played in Kansas, very close to each other. They had to tough it out for about a year and a half on different teams, but now they're reunited in Phoenix. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Begovic against Beasley. Now here's Begovic. T right on him.
Does it as well as anyone. Tremendous skill in the air.
It's good, and he drew contact on the shot, so he will go to the line. A three-point play chance here. And that sends Kendall Marshall to the free throw line. Ricky Rubio picks one up. Well, you look at the Morris twins, Mark Keefe about an inch taller, but thus far in their careers, their numbers are pretty similar so far.
Both of them natural power forwards with some outside shooting ability, so they can kind of fill that modern floor spacing four-man role.
That is some real serious dime dropping there. Exquisite assist.
And Rubio kicks to Mark. Back to Rubio. And here's Love for three. That's in, coming off an assist from Rubio. Rubio's got 6 assists in the game. Marshall dishes to Gortat. A strong finish under heavy pressure all over. Gortat's got 4 points now in the quarter. And it's Martin penetrating. Pulls it up. And there's another one for the Timberwolves. There's 31 seconds left to play here in the second quarter. Here's Green. The finger roll finish at the bucket. Green's got 10 points in the game.
Good defense, but you gotta love the finish with the finger roll over the top.
And coming to shoot is good.
He's a big reason why they have the lead right now. He's made all of his field goal attempts thus far and remains hot from the floor.
Dragic against Rubio. Dragic kicks to Beasley. The dish now to Len. One second left. There's the bucket. Good. And that does it for the first half of play. Timberwolves lead by 13. And it's time now for the Sprint Halftime Show with Damon Bruce. We'll be back shortly to get the second half underway.
Now, presented by Sprint. It's time for the Sunday night halftime report. The Timberwolves making it look easy so far. The three-point shooting, ridiculous. They're knocking down everything. Well, Ricky Rubio is making it look easy against the Suns. We're at halftime, and still, he hasn't missed a shot. It's been a pure shooting exhibition. And for the Suns, they've been struggling a bit. Hard to find a lot to like about their performance so far. They'll need to pay much better attention in the second half to the details. The details. Gerald Green making the most of his minutes. No secret he can carry the team with his offense. Thanks so much for spending halftime with me. Now let's head on back out to Kevin and the gang.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint. Welcome back, everybody. Third quarter just about to get going here in what has been so far a runaway game. Ricky Rubio has been sensational.
He went off in the first 2 quarters, guys, as he's capable of doing. We might see some changes here in the defensive approach they use on him in the second half.
Yeah, they've got to make some sort of change. I mean, they can't let him continue to torch him like he has been.
And that one's good by Gortat.
Boy, he really used his height there.
He sure did, Steve. I mean, a nice touch on that shot. Well, you know, the Suns dropped from being a team that could fight for a playoff spot to the cellar of the West last season, and much of that you could attribute to how much they struggled on the road.
Suns trail by 13. They double him with Love. This one for 3. And Green with the basket on the assist by Dragic. Green's got 13.
Beautiful feed off the bounce to his teammate there. Nicely done.
Well, the Suns did have a lot of trouble on the road, as you were saying, Clark. Only managed to win 8 games as the visiting team, Steve, the entire season. That's not good.
Well, 8 wins is unacceptable, and it actually tied the Suns with the Kings for the fewest road wins in the entire conference. So, look, this is a young team. They have a lot of learning to do. They've got to add talent. I think the rebuilding project has started, and they're going to get better, but it's still going to take some time.
Man, how about the dexterity for this big guy? I mean, he is really smooth around the basket.
Back to Beasley. And it's Chase Buttinger with the foul. That is his first foul of the game.
Looked to me like the defender didn't get squared up and get his feet set.
Good work by the officials. A nice call. That play can be tough to judge sometimes.
Beasley sets a screen for Gortat. Beasley with it. Guarded now by Kevin Love.
Even with that miss, they're shooting 75% coming out of the break. That's a strong start to the half.
Rubio outside. The feed to Buttinger. Love outside. Rubio the pass to Martin. That's good. It's Rubio with the assist. That's 12 points for Kevin Martin.
Kevin Martin really is one of the most reliable scorers in the league. Last season, a career-high three-point percentage at just under 43% from behind the arc.
That's good.
Everything's going right now. 4 for 5 shooting, 80%. They got their offense clicking.
And now around 2 minutes gone by in this half. This is to Buttinger. And he uses the glass on the layup. Buttinger's got 10. And Kevin Martin, we've mentioned it before, one of the most unique shooting motions you'll see in the NBA.
Yeah, it's an interesting stroke, kind of a quick draw shot. Starts at the hip, but he's remarkably accurate with it. His release point always stays the same.
When that one goes in, as he was fouled, it'll be 3 points if he converts at the line.
Pretty much all of their buckets coming from inside the paint now.
Yeah, that's 5 of their last 6 baskets inside the lane. They have really established themselves inside.
Caron Butler's checked in for Phoenix.
That's what has to happen if they're going to turn this thing around. He's got to take charge. He's got to be aggressive and really look to push here offensively.
Here's Pekovic, and it's good. Through contact, hits the shot. He'll go to the free throw line.
And their field goal percentage continues to climb. They've really shot the ball well here today so far.
Yeah, and it's all about quality shot selection, smart shot selection. They've been very patient on offense. One of the things that really jumps out at you about the Timberwolves last year is how well they got to the foul line. Everybody on the roster is pretty good and clever at using ball fakes to draw fouls and get themselves to the free throw line. It makes it very frustrating when you're defending a team like that.
Budinger dishes to Love. Rubio against Dragic, and the basket by Rubio.
He is so adept at finishing in the low post.
Suns trail by 18. Well, Clark, you said it. They were very good at drawing fouls. They were also very good at avoiding fouls. Steve, defensively.
Yeah, very disciplined defensively. The end result, they're third best in the NBA in free throw differential. And for a team that struggled shooting the ball from long range, those extra points came in handy.
Here's Rubio after the made shot from Gortat. Love kicks to Budinger. Martin, he passes to Rubio. 5 to shoot. Timberwolves passing it around. Minnesota needs to get off a shot here. Off target with his 3.
Kevin, I didn't like that defensive effort at all, but they're lucky he missed it.
Yeah, they were very lucky defensively because there was some miscommunication there. They left him wide open.
Now here's Bledsoe. Gortat and Pekovic gets the whistle that time. That'll be his second foul of the game. Phoenix making some changes. Len comes in for Gortat. And it's Gerald Green in for Eric Bledsoe. 51 seconds left in the third quarter. And Green with the basket on the assist by Beasley. Green's got 5 points in the quarter.
You can see that they're not as aggressive from the three-point arc. They had far more attempts in the first half.
And Rubio kicks to Martin. And Gerald Green picks up the foul. That is his first foul of the game. A platoon swap here for Phoenix. Here's Barea. Gets it to go from beyond the arc. Barea's got his third basket of the night.
Just seems like they've given up far too many points from the three-point shot today. A lot of open looks out there.
I agree, Steve. The defensive rotations have been abysmal.
And Bledsoe, here we go, takes the 3. Another 3 for Phoenix.
He is bombing it today. How many more threes are we going to see from him?
Well, we've already seen plenty. The majority of his points have come from that shot.
Barea with it. He's guarded by Dragic. Williams kicks to Barea. Pass to Williams. On the wing, Brewer. Williams feeds it to Barea. And here's Shved from the arc. And again, Minnesota with the triple.
Good ball movement. He put that pass in the ideal spot, right where it needed to be.
The try by Green. Here's Butler. Another 3 for Phoenix. Here's Barea. No good on that last second attempt there. Well, through 3 quarters of play, down double digits, it may be difficult to overcome. Timberwolves ahead. They lead by 14. And we're just moments away from the start of the fourth quarter. Stay with us. And we're getting underway here in the fourth quarter. The scoreboard tells the story in this matchup, but we'll see how much things change up here. And some stats here, guys. The scoring breakdown for the Timberwolves.
How about the three-point shooting we're seeing so far, guys? Amazing.
Something that also stands out tonight is the number of assists they have. I mean, that's a mark of a good club.
Timberwolves leading by 14. The pass to Love. And the foul called on Markieff Morris. That is his first foul of the game.
Yeah, he had not established position.
You know, I'd prefer the refs to whistle with a block when in doubt. I thought that was a good call there.
Barea with it. He's guarded by Dragic. The drive by Love. Stolen by Bledsoe.
Tried to use the pump fake there, but the defense didn't buy it. Boy, how's that for a quick possession?
Yeah, it sure was. I mean, he didn't waste any time getting down the court, did he?
Kicks it to Barea. The tray, and that one's good. And the Timberwolves lead by 15.
What a floor leader he's been at the offensive end.
You know, he's done a terrific job of moving the ball around, sharing it, dispersing it, and running the show.
Morris with the bucket.
That's how to orchestrate for your teammate. Terrific pass.
And it's Love penetrating. Count that one.
He is setting this place on fire, fellas. His shooting has been off the charts. You know, it's no secret around the league, guys, that the Suns either have one of the best medical staffs in the game or they've built their practice facility by the fountain of youth. More evidence of that came when Jermaine O'Neal found new tread on his well-worn tires.
Here's Buttinger after the made shot from Green. Rubio the pass to Buttinger. Back to Rubio. Good on the triple. Rubio's got 22 points.
He has really shot the ball extremely well, as you'd expect. Like we say, he's been making sweet string music all day long.
Clark, as you said, a lot of the players that left the Suns last season, such as Steve Nash and Green Hill, had trouble keeping their health up. And Steve, I don't know, you've been in that organization, whatever they are doing that are keeping those players healthy and in top shape has been working. They are admirable in the way they have led that cause.
Well, it's a tremendous training staff. They've just always done a very good job of keeping their guys healthy by getting them in the training room every day for work, by combining the strength program with the training schedule. But a lot of confidence in that staff from the players, and I think it really shows.
And the Suns call time. Here's Dragic from outside. Another three for Phoenix.
Nice play there on that inbounds play, and it paid off with the three.
All right, let's go over to the sideline with Doris Burke.
Yes, Kevin, during that last break, I heard Rick Adelman as he addressed his team. He laid one thing out there for them, saying, now is time to eliminate any chance of a mistake. We've got a good lead. Don't take any unnecessary risks or commit a silly foul. Smart basketball from here on out.
And it's Chase Buttinger with the foul. That'll be his second foul of the game. Dragic dishes to Green. And that's good. And it's Dragic with the assist. Dragic has got assist number 9 now. Wow, what an effort here tonight. The drive by Rubio. And Shved kicks to Rubio. And here's Love for 3. With the triple.
His three-point shot is so pure, just draining one after another.
Bledsoe passes to Morris. Another 3 for Phoenix.
There is no way a player like him can be left wide open like that. Did you pay attention to the scouting?
Trail by 14. Dragic left side. All sorts of time. And the shot is good. Dragic has got 5 points now in the quarter.
You know, how about that basketball, man? Beautiful. Wow.
Just floating to the rim on that slam.
Boy, when he gets up and stays up.
Boy, smooth and graceful. How about the hang time? That's impressive.
Pekovic, Gortat covering, and Buttinger kicks to Love. And here's Shved from the arc. Good. And the Timberwolves lead by 13.
Now, they're not showing too much respect for him defensively, are they?
And so they choose to intentionally foul.
I'm not sure what he was thinking about there. That's a strange foul.
Who knows? Maybe he just wanted to take a break for a minute.
Minnesota making a switch here. Martin's checked in.
You know, the Wolves were devastated by injuries last year, guys, but they still did all right up here in Minneapolis. 20-21 at home. Not great, but considering the injuries, a pretty solid home record.
And back to Minnesota, they were a sneaky pick to get into the playoffs at the beginning of last year, but so much can change in the course of the season, Steve. Namely injuries for the Timberwolves.
No doubt. Kevin Love going down. I mean, that hurt them. Ricky Rubio in and out of the lineup. But there's no question when you look at the roster, some of the moves they made in the offseason, it's a pretty talented team.
Not the guy you want to put on the line, Kevin. He's an You know, when you're one of the worst teams in the league, you have a lot of problems. And for the Suns, one of their biggest problems was that opponents shot very close to 40% against them from behind the arc. And that's just not a winning number.
Now here's Martin. He dishes it to Rubio. Martin. That's good. It's Rubio with the assist. 17 points for Kevin Martin.
And with that basket, you'd have to think this lead is safe.
Well, if not 100% safe, certainly 95%.
Love goes in. He feeds it to Martin. Nice ball movement by Minnesota. Rubio dishes to Budinger. Lets it go with the three. And another three for Minnesota. As you said, Clark, with the Suns, dead last in the league in terms of opposing three-point percentage. Defense overall was a problem for him, Steve, but especially in closing out on shooters beyond the arc.
Well, the three-point shot, Kevin, has become such a huge part of every NBA team's offense now that if you're struggling to defend that line, you're going to really find yourself at the bottom of the league defensively and record-wise, and that's exactly where Phoenix found itself.
On the way up, what is it? And they call the blocking foul.
A serious game-clinching run. They've taken off here. Impressive.
No backing off. What a surge at the right time.
And the Suns with a completely new group on the floor. Now, here is Morris. Marshall passes the ball, but he stays with it. Drains it from beyond the arc. Here comes Kevin Martin. And Love backs in. That's good from 17 feet away. And the Timberwolves lead by 20.
Terrific job taking care of business in front of the home fans.
And, Steve, I thought those home fans, gave this team a big lift all game. A lot of positive energy built.
Well, their offense has kicked into gear, but seems to have arrived a little bit too late.
And as a coach, that can really be frustrating. I mean, you guys were stumbling along for most of the game, and now, when it's basically over, they finally decide to come alive.
And so it's the Timberwolves taking care of business here. Some days, Clark, everything goes right for a team, and they just did one of those games.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, these guys played a great all-around basketball game here.
And that'll do it for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. And now, we present the Jordan Player of the Game, Ricky Rubio.
And we are wrap up for the episode 15 of the NBA 2K14 regards to Ricky Rubio of the Minnesota Timberwolves. And now we're going to next week on episode 16 of NBA 2K14. I will wrap off here today. This is Andre Kenshin. Have a nice day and time to take care and peace out. Good night and so long.